He was an underground hip-hop rapper until he would catch his big break in the 90s. But eventually, overweight problems would take their toll. Join me on this episode of Rest in Peace as we pay tribute to Big Pun.
Till he returns or calls me home, here in the power of Christ I stand.
Christopher Lee Rios was born on November 10, 1971 in the Bronx, New York. As a young youth, Chris was very into sports, particularly basketball and soccer, where he regularly played at the park. His childhood wasn't exactly a happy one, for it was stated many times that he had left home at the age of 15 due to family difficulties such as his mother's drug abuse and the death of his stepfather. He was homeless for a short period of time and eventually dropped out of school. That was until luck would strike one day, where at age 19, he was awarded a $500,000 settlement from where he broke his leg playing at the park back in 1976. He would also go on to marry his high school sweetheart Liza in 1990. Although Christopher found happiness in marriage, it also came during a disappointing time of his life. For during the time between the age of 18 and 21, he struggled with depression, which stemmed from his troubled childhood. To cope with it, Christopher turned to food, where he would end up eating his way from 180 pounds to a whopping 300. But besides food, Christopher also had another way of struggling with his depression: rap. For during the late 80s, he began writing rap lyrics, where eventually he met Felix Delgado, better known as Cuban Link, Joker Jams, and Tunes, where they formed the underground rap group Full A Clips, where he rapped under the name Big Moon Dog. He would eventually stand out amongst the rest of the group, not because of his size, but because of his complex rhyming, where he would rap for a very long time without taking a breath, which was impressive for a 300-plus pound man.
With 1,000 pounds of pressure per slap, make his whole body jerk back, watch the earth crack, hand him his first back. I'm the first Latin rapper to back niggas flow, max of the flow, niggas be swearing I'm black and cold like Matt King. I be rapping the guns, packing the ones, magnums, cannons, and Gatling guns. It's Big Pun.
Chris Rios would eventually catch his big break when he was discovered by another Hispanic hip-hop artist, Joseph Cartagena, or as we all know him as, Fat Joe. Being a plus-size rapper himself, Fat Joe recognized Big Moon Dog's talent and asked him to be on his song titled Watch Out. Eventually, the two formed a strong friendship and work relation. It was also around this time Big Moon Dog would change his name as well. Being inspired by the Marvel character The Punisher, he came up with the name Big Punisher and joined a Latino group now known famously as the Terror Squad. In 1997, Big Pun's first hit, I'm Not a Player, rose up the hip-hop charts where it peaked at number 3. The following year, he released his first full-length album, Capital Punishment. It peaked at number 5 at the Billboard 200, number 1 on the R&B album charts, was nominated for Best Rap Album at the 1999 Grammy Awards, and was the first Latin solo hip-hop record to go platinum. The album sold more than 2 million copies, which featured cameos by other hip-hop artists such as Wyclef and Busta Rhymes. During his success, Big Pun became quite the icon in the Puerto Rican community. He also began working with other talents featured in their songs such as Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, in which in 1999, he appeared in the black horror, Urban Menace. Though Big Pun was getting bigger in the hip-hop scene, unfortunately, he was getting bigger in someplace else, his weight gain. Because around the time of his album's release, Big Pun weighed around 400 pounds. Urged by his friend Fat Joe, he entered a weight loss program where at first he was progressing by losing over 100 pounds. But suddenly out of nowhere, he quit the program where everything that he struggled to lose, he ended up gaining back and then some. His obesity eventually started causing problems in his day-to-day life. But nonetheless, Big Pun continued to wow the audience and stayed in demand because of his rap skills, where eventually both him and Fat Joe appeared in Jennifer Lopez's Feeling So Good. On February 5th, 2000, Big Pun was set to appear on Saturday Night Live with Jennifer Lopez and Fat Joe to perform the song Feeling So Good, but he had to cancel due to not feeling well. 2 days later, while staying at a hotel with his wife and 3 children, Pun suffered a heart attack and respiratory failure. He was quickly rushed to the hospital, where unfortunately, due to the paramedics not being able to revive him, Big Pun was announced DOA. According to the medical examiner, Big Pun weighed an estimated 700 pounds at the time of his death. Following his death, his second album, titled Yeah Baby, was released in April, and it had peaked at number 3 on the Billboard charts, where it went gold. Also, in an interview with DJ Vlad, Fat Joe went on to give his opinions about Pun's weight issues, and then went on to say that it inspired him to lose weight. Big Pun is buried at the Woodland Cemetery in the Bronx, New York. He was 28 years old. I'm Psycho Rick. Thanks for watching.
Till he returns or calls me home, here in the power of Christ.